Okay, so professors, we're still looking at the tools for decision making. And I think we finished with the Pareto analysis as well as the pest analysis, for which I gave you some assignment to try your hands on. And I think so far the responses I'm seeing are very good. I hope none of you used AI, because then that will mean you don't even believe in yourself. Okay. It's better to use your own understanding and later refer to AI for any further readings or whatever. Okay, so I'll do the marking. I promise you I'll finish marking everything so you know your scores or your feedback. So yes. But then I wanted to talk about the SWOT analysis. We speak a little about it the last time. It's an important concept, especially when it comes to this case study and stuff, right? So we'll start there and then we'll look at the remaining, which includes decision matrix, okay, and then look at the cost benefit analysis, the root cause analysis, and then I think we'll wrap up with the Delphi method. Okay, so let's dig in. So the SWOT analysis, I think we are all on the same page with SWOT. The S represents strength, W weaknesses, O opportunities, and then T threats. What I wanted to reiterate was that the strengths and weaknesses are internal, okay? They are within the organization or the business. And the business has control over it. In other words, the business can manipulate it to their advantage or otherwise. But opportunities and threats exist in the external environment. The external environment of a business comprises of all the factors that the business has no control over, but impact or have impact on its operations. So when we pick the strength and weakness, for example, let's take MTN Ghana Limited. Some of the strengths and weaknesses of MTN Ghana Limited comprises of all the factors that MTN can manipulate or influence. Example, um, the the qualification of employees, right? This is something MTN can manipulate because they have control as to who to employ and who not to employ. So they can tap into this good quality of workers, okay, to excel in their dealings. Another one would be maybe diligent managers, adequate capital. All these are internal factors that the business can manipulate. The technology they have, okay, their brand, or the quality of the service they provide. All these are internal strength. Some of the weaknesses may include maybe lack of funding, okay, lazy workers or incompetent managers, okay. And interestingly, they can work on these weaknesses. That is why we say it's a factor that they can manipulate or work on it to achieve their goals, okay. So that is the bit about the strength and weakness. The opportunities and threats, they exist externally. The business cannot control this one. One of the opportunities could be one, open markets, right? People beginning to love the kind of service or product that you are providing. You have no control over them. That desire can die out or can increase, not because of your influence. Okay. For example, this I want to give an example which fits this criteria. Um, what happened in this country that led to people having when Men's Gold and other investment organizations were shutting down, you realize that now people were beginning to bank with the government banks or government banking institutions. So you see that occurrence provided an opportunity for government banks. I think GCB, let me be specific, GCB, Ghana Commercial Bank, now they call them GCB Bank. Okay. got that opportunity because certain banks or certain financial institutions were shut down. Okay. GCB didn't have any control over shutting down banks or financial institutions, but it happened. Okay. And that gave them some opportunity to have more customers. Okay. So that is one example of, opportunities. The threat mainly comes from your competitors, right? For example, you set up your barbering shop. The next moment, another person comes to set up same just next to you. You have no control over it. You can't tell the person to stop or shut down the business. Okay. So competitors is one of the threats. And then economic changes like this inflation and exchange rate. No business in Ghana has control over the exchange rate, right? But it affects its operations. Okay. So that is also about the opportunities and the threats. So in terms of exams, you could be asked to do some of these analysis, specifically stating some of the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats available to a certain business in a given case study. So please open your minds around these concepts. Thank you. Please, any question before we move on? Any question? Okay. So now let's go to the next one. After the SWOT analysis, the next one we have is the decision matrix or weighted scoring model. And I think one of you will read it for me. Who will do the reading for me? Prof. Thina, I think I'll start with you. But before you read, have you submitted my assignments?
No, please.
Okay, so you are one of those who owe me. So, so please do well to submit probably after the class for me. Right. So let's continue with the. Please read for us. Decision matrix.
Decision matrix or weighted scoring model. This decision-making tool makes it possible for business managers and individuals to evaluate and prioritize a list of alternatives based on multiple criteria. Each criterion is assigned a weight according to its importance, and each alternative is scored against these criteria. The weighted scores are then calculated by multiplying the scores by the weight, and the total weighted score for each option is determined by summing these products. The option with the highest total weighted score is typically considered the best choice, providing a systematic and quantitative approach to decision making.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It seems like there's a lot of there are lots of vocabulary in this one. Criterion, weighted, and all that. What understanding do you get from what we have just looked at? It's a decision-making tool that makes it possible for business managers and individuals to evaluate and prioritize a list of alternatives based on multiple criteria. Now, each criterion is assigned a weight according to its importance, and each alternative is scored against these criteria. I think we can do some, gymnastics here. Well, what I also want you to note is that this is a quantitative approach. When we say quantitative, it means it involves numbers. That is why you see multiplying scores by weight and all that. I think we can make it more understandable. Let me put in a new slide here. But before that, let me get the opinions of professors on this decision tool. What is your understanding of what you have read? Yes, who is? Please, Zoom user, can you edit your full name for me? Any understanding of this decision tool? Oh, Okay, so let me do this for us. Maybe it will help us appreciate. Now, if you read the two, it says that what you do is you evaluate and prioritize a list of alternatives based on multiple criteria. Now, for the purpose of our discussion, I'll just give two alternatives. Maybe we have the alternative of taking Milo this morning or taking leptin, right? So these are the two alternatives. We want to make a choice. Now, this tool says that set a criteria, okay, for which you are going to measure these two alternatives or options. So maybe criteria number one, we need something that can, say that is sweet. Okay, so it should be sweet. Criteria number two, it should be less expensive. And three, it should be maybe please, you can assist me. Milo and Lipton, what are some of the criteria we can use to, compare the two? Sweet, less expensive. Uh, okay, say, no. No, I think we can get that 2 or 3 criteria. Oh, please, professors, help me now. Or we should use just these 2 criteria, sweet and less expensive, right? Now, we are saying that, Portia, you were saying something.
Yeah, I agree that we should use this too.
Okay, sweet and less expensive. I wanted to add one. Add one. Oh. Well, let's use this for now. We'll use another example some other time. Right. So what we do is we assign a weight to each of the criterion. Okay, so the criterion for which we want, or the criteria for which we want to assess Milo and leptin is based on its sweetness and how expensive or not, or otherwise each of them is. So let's say we say that if it is sweet, right, we'll give you, say, 5 points. So that's the weight. You assign some point or weight to it. Okay. If it is not too sweet, then maybe you assign 1. In between, you can have 4 for less sweet or whatever. What do you call it? 3 for semi-sweet, 2 for it's there, and then 1 for it is not sweet, something like that. Okay, so you assign the weight to these criterion or criteria, right? So let me push this thing up a bit. Please, I hope you are following me. So number 1.
Yes, sir.
Less expensive. Okay. Great. So when we take Milo, right? When we take Milo, we do the the analysis based on the criteria, right? So it says the weighted scores are then multiplied by the scores by the weight, and the total weighted score for each option is determined by summing this product, right? So let's do that multiplication. So we say that, okay, so Milo, when we come to Milo, in terms of sweetness, what weight would you give to Milo? Compared to leptin, Milo would have what point? Yes, Portia.
4.
Would have 4. Okay. And then so Milo would have 4. And then what of leptin? Leptin would have, say, yes, Prof. Now don't say 0. Prof. Now what score did you give to
1? Please, 1.
1? Okay. So 1. So we have been able to make the scores for Milo and leptin based on this criteria. But we say for the thing to pass for example, maybe for it to pass the level of sweetness, it should have like 5 marks. So that's the weight we put for this criterion sweetness. It should have 5. But we gave Milo 4 and leptin what? 1. In terms of less expensive, same weight 5. But let's see what scores Milo would get. Milo and leptin, which one is less expensive? Or what score would you give to Milo in terms of its cost? Yes, let me see who is there. Let me see. Na and Portia have spoken. Ajimai, Prof. Ajimai.
Milo is expensive than leptin.
Okay, Milo is expensive than leptin. So in terms of the scores, what score would you give to Milo in terms of being expensive? Is it 5 or 1?
3.
3. Okay, 3. Note that the weight for that criterion is 5, which means if it is less expensive, it will get a score of 5. So if it is expensive, then it should get a score lesser than that 5. So we'll pick the 3 as given by Prof. Mike. Leptin, expensive, less expensive. What are we giving to leptin? Is it 1 or 5? I think we'll give 5. We'll give 5 to leptin. Okay. Now, having assigned the scores based on the criterion, we say you do a multiplication. So let me go back. It says that you multiply the scores by the weight. Okay. So let's look at it. For Milo scored 4 for what? Sweetness. So 4 times 20, 4 times 5, that will give us what? 20 for Milo in terms of sweetness. So let me do it here. 20, while leptin will score, say, 1 times 5, which is 5. And for less expensive, Milo is 3. So we multiply, we get 15. And then leptin will get what? 25. 5 times 5, 25. After doing the multiplication, you now sum them up. So you sum the total. So for Milo, we would have 20 plus what? 15, that's 35. And for leptin, we have what? 30. Now, what does the 2 says? It says that the option with the highest total weighted score is typically considered the best choice. So in this our scenario, which one is the best choice? Definitely is what? Milo. Now, is it not so interesting that something that is, not so less expensive because of its sweetness, okay, we are going for that option. So on using this simple tool, you can be able to make a choice between the Milo and what? Leptin. And based on these two, our obvious choice will be what? Milo. Please, is it understood?
Yes, please.
Yes. And I think here, yes, our choice is so because I think Milo scored much points in the sweetness. You see, 4 against 1 for leptin. So that's where probably leptin lost. Leptin gained its stance with the less expensive, right? But Milo didn't score that bad. It's not like it's too expensive. Okay. So it's like it's sweet and it's not too expensive. This one is not sweet. It's less expensive. So obviously we'll go for the one which is sweet and not so expensive. And I think any rational human being would do that. Now for leptin, unless probably you add sugar and milk, then you can think about sweetness. Okay. I think there was a question, Prof. Augustine Akoli. You wanted to ask a question. Please go ahead.
Sir, please, I didn't get your point.
Which of them?
Sir, please, you said
Which of them didn't you get? Which of the points?
Mhm.
Is it the point about assigning the weight or the? Okay, maybe let me use another example, and you'd appreciate. Let's say we are comparing two football players, right? Football players. Let's say Ronaldo and what? Ronaldo and Messi, right? Now it says that these are two alternatives we want to choose from. We want to choose the best player. So we set a criteria. Okay. So we set the criteria. Number one, maybe the number of goals scored, right? Number of assists. Maybe what do you call it? We'll add the age. We'll add the number of matches played. Okay, a lot of criteria. Number of matches played. Okay. Then we assign weights to these criteria. So we are saying for the number of goals, we are going to give them scores, maybe based on the fact that 10 or 100 is the highest. Okay. So we compare Ronaldo and Messi in terms of number of goals. What will be the score for Ronaldo? So maybe based on the goals that he has scored, we said, okay, Ronaldo would score 60, whilst Messi will score what? Let's say 61. In fact, let me be biased. I love Messi. In fact, so I'm a Barca fan. I'm sorry, but we are learning. So you see, out of this criteria number of goals, Ronaldo is scoring 60, Messi is scoring what? 61. Then we go to number of assists. Maybe the score or the weight we assign to number of scores is a number of assists is 50. And then maybe out of that, Ronaldo will score 40. Messi will score, say, 30. Then we go to age. Maybe age, we are going to assign a weight of, say, 20 to it. So we look at the age and we say, oh, in terms of age, Ronaldo should score like 15, whilst Messi will score like 5. Okay. The number of matches played, maybe we peg it at a score of, say, 150. And out of that 150, we are expecting Ronaldo to score, let's say, 120. And what do you call it? Messi will, let's say, do 110. So it's like you assign a weight to each of the criteria. And then based on this weight, you award scores to each of the alternatives. Now, a lot goes through. I'm just doing an example, but if we were taking realistic or specific what do you call it, measures, the number of goals for these two people will be more than 100, right? So then the weights assigned to this would have been higher. I think they have scored in excess of 500 or something, the last I checked, right? But we are using this example. So after you have done this, the tool says that you do a multiplication of whatever each of the alternatives scored by the weighted point. So for number of goals, for Ronaldo, we multiply 60 by 100, okay, and add it to what he scored in number of assists, okay, multiplying 40 by 50. When you do that and add them, the total you get, you compare those two players, the one with the highest is the best alternative to choose. I don't know if it makes sense to you now, Augustine.
Yeah, please. Yes.
Yes. Is another example is like in the classroom, your teacher will do class tests, assignment, and final exams. And then the weight put on final exams is 100%. And then the weight put on assignments and what they call exercises, class assessment is 30%. So that is the weight for these criteria. Then he's going to assess each of his students by the score. So maybe exams out of 100%, Augustine scored 30%, 90%, Portia scored 95%. So he's going to check the scores for each of the students with the criteria of examination. Then do same for what? Class score. And then we'll do the multiplication and sum them up. The student with the highest becomes the best student. And I think it makes sense in that regard, right? So that is the decision matrix or weighted scoring model. Okay, and it is quantitative. You use numbers to do that. Okay, let's look at the next one, which is cost-benefit analysis, which I think is easy going. You look at the costs and the benefits associated with each alternative, and you make the best choice, which obviously should be the one that has high benefits and lesser costs. So I think this one is straightforward, right? So if you are given 2 or 3 alternatives to make a choice, you look at the cost involved, the benefits, and then you choose the one that has more benefits over its cost. Okay. Yes, Prof. Now.
Yes, sir. Please I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, with the cost-benefit analysis, taking that maybe with the options you have, it's like maybe one is like it has high benefit though, but the cost like it's also high compared to the other ones, which
Yeah.
has low benefit. I mean, which has high, compared to the ones that have low benefit and has low cost, will you still take the one with high benefit and has high cost?
So you see, to be able to effectively use this tool, again, you have to quantify the cost and the benefits. Okay. Because then that will give you a better appreciation of what actually the benefits and the costs are. If you just take a look at it, you might not get it. Okay. So you'd have to add some quantitative measurement and probably a little qualitative. Okay. I think I'll give an example where we can use this cost benefits analysis so that we can appreciate better. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions? But Prof, now let me ask you, if you have 2 investment options, one of the investment, you'd have to spend like 100,000 Ghana cedis. And at the end of the day, the profit you get from this investment is 5,000 Ghana cedis. And then you have another investment, you only have to invest 20,000 Ghana cedis. And at the end of the day, you are going to get 3,000 Ghana cedis. Which of them would you choose?
Please, I'll choose the second one.
Second one. So you see that even though the benefit of the second one is still lesser than the benefit of what the first one, because the second you are getting 3,000, the first you are getting 5,000. But look at how much you have to invest. The first 100,000, the second 20,000. So what it tells you is that in terms of comparison, the first one would involve you committing much money than the lesser. Than the second. Okay. So that's a little bit of the cost benefit analysis. You weigh the benefits, okay, and the cost and see which one is prudent to make or choose. Okay, so professors, I think this session is up. Let's join the second session and continue our discussion. I've enjoyed myself so far. I think I am enjoying please, if you are here and you are not talking, you are missing out. Talk and ask questions, contribute. So let's meet in the second session and look at the other decision-making tools. Thank you.